Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
Hey there guys, Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and I'm so excited. I just watched the latest episode of The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 5. Welcome to my reaction video. Also stay tuned towards the end of this video. I'm gonna have some actual video clips of my raw reactions of this episode that were pretty awesome. There are some pretty whoa and wow and just bamboozling moments throughout this episode of The Mandalorian, so stay tuned for those. This episode was beyond phenomenal. So that being said, here are some of my quick thoughts and opinions, my overall just initial reactions. Let's talk about it. There's so much going on in this episode. Zeb in live action looks beyond phenomenal, for one thing. Oh my goodness, that's one of the clips towards the end of the video. Zeb in live action, they're finally beginning to set up things for the Ahsoka show that is of course going to be centered around, well, really it's being described as a Star Wars Rebels sequel in live action. So something that I've been talking time in and time out here on the channel is that they're going to have some type of bottle cap episode that heavily focuses on introducing the Rebels characters and the rest of the Ghost crew even at that for the Ahsoka show. The Ahsoka show is going to be the next big live action Star Wars Disney Plus show after the Mandalorian Season 3 wraps up this year, coming out in just a few couple of months. I was just with Zeb, I just saw him in the background like a purple type of species. I knew it was his same species, and then you hear the talking, and I'm just like, oh my god, that's Steve Blum, that's Zeb in live action, and it looks beyond phenomenal. And so the entire episode I was on the edge of my seat waiting for other Star Wars Rebel Ghost crew characters to appear and show up, and that wasn't necessarily the case, but that doesn't mean it can't be necessarily the case for the next following couple of episodes of The Mandalorian. And then also the big plot twist there towards the end of this episode here with Moff Gideon. Into the regards of him, we had Carson T, the rebel pilot that had kind of been out adventuring and warned Mando and the rest of the covert about Grief Karga and Navarro, and was the one that he was actually the one that took charge and told them to go over there because the New Republic has their priorities set in other areas. And alongside with the one episode that was focused on Dr. Pershing for the most part, really shows the corruption of what the New Republic exactly is. And this is something that heavily reminds me of the Andor show. The Andor show really heavily does show those flaws in what the rebellion is and the wrongdoings that they do, like what the original trilogy does, showing all the good things that they've done. And of course, yeah, sure, they've done a lot of great things, but at the same time, there's a lot of corrupt matters that these shows have been exploring quite recently, and it's something I'm looking forward to seeing more and more of, especially going forward. I also felt like this episode, once again, really could have better helped up for what the Rangers of the New Republic Disney Plus show could be actually in the future. Since we last heard of that show, ever since Cara Dune's Gina Carano's firing from Disney, well, that show has been canned, but there's always the possibility, there's always the potential. And also seeing towards the end of the episode of what the Armorer did with Bo-Katan as well. She essentially told me, show me this mythosaur, go to Mandalore, go get this mythosaur, reunite all the Mandalorians. Din clearly doesn't really know all that much about what he's doing with the Darksaber, and then I'm also kind of sitting here wondering about, well, why doesn't she just already challenge him for the Darksaber at this point? And I feel like that is something that we maybe could have the potential to see somewhere in the near future, but also at the same time, it kind of feels disrespectful, I think, is maybe what some of the Mandalorians are thinking. So she'll just go off and find the mythosaur, and also the Armor is taking the mythosaur sighting as a sign of a new way, essentially a new age, a new era, as she describes, of the Mandalorians. And then she also tells Bo-Katan to take her helmet off there at the same time as well, and I'm sitting there is the Armor going to take her helmet off, and we're finally going to see Emily Swallow's face behind the Armor there as well. She's so I feel just memorable for her overall voice of what the Armorer is exactly as a character. So to put a face with that someday, I think is something that could be something we could see. Okay, and then before I got side distracted there once again, the very big plot twist towards the end of this episode is something that I kind of saw from a few miles coming, but I just couldn't believe it. It felt like something that was so far-fetched, but Mandalorians are the ones that quote-unquote rescued Moff Gideon from the New Republic. Now, as I had mentioned, we really see those corruption areas and parts in the New Republic. They just don't take proper care of everything and anything even at that, and that they have other matters that they're attending to for their own member New Republic worlds, as we hear in this episode here as well. So to see that Moff Gideon's broken out of the New Republic already, and in this matter, this guy never even got to jail, he never got to his hearing or anything like that, as we are mentioned, and that he was rescued from Mandalorians as there's Beskar remnants left upon this ship. It's really quite insane in my own thoughts and opinions, and it's something that had been rumored, as I had mentioned. This is something that I had saw from a couple of miles coming this way, but I just couldn't believe it. It just felt like something that was so far-fetched, but this is something a couple of months ago that had actually been rumored. I think we discussed it a little bit here and there on the channel, and it was even even a rumor going around that Moff Gideon could receive his own Mandalorian armor, his own Mandalorian helmet, and everything like that, and kind of be like his leader of like his own Mandalorian covert in a way. I mean, just everything about this episode, there's a lot to take in, a lot to digest. There's a lot that went on with this episode. You have live action Zeb being introduced. I think that's something that could make for future episodes of this season that could help set out and shell out for the Ahsoka show. You have Moff Gideon finally explained. That's something I'll dive deeper on into here on the channel into the regards of a separate feature video here, just explaining everything that we do know about that, because I think that it could be like maybe Death Watch or something along that that other Mandalorian covert, and you have all these other Mandalorians kind of going against each other, and then you'll have Bo-Katan to actually be the one to bring them all together. Now, this is something that I kind of mentioned briefly in a different video here on the channel into the regards of Moff Gideon doesn't feel like a direct villain all that much towards the Mandalorians. It's just kind of like they're crossing paths, and that they are kind of after Grogu and Baby Yoda. And I feel like having Moff Gideon now rescued by these like evil or Mandalorians that could be Death Watch feels like a more direct inclusion for his character to be mad and want to get at these Mandalorians. And then also seeing now that Navarro is a safe place for the Mandalorians, and that they will see the light of day once again. They're not in hiding anymore. They've been in hiding like ever since season 1, hiding in those sewers of what Navarro was at that time. So now, of course, to see them coming out of hiding is so nice finally, and I can't wait to see like how that works into the continuation of this season and future seasons of The Mandalorian. Even at that, like, they kind of like get that happy ending finally. And something I also mentioned in some of these reaction clips that I'm about to show you guys in just a few moments here is the way that those pirates are actually supposed to be the like main villains. I hear reportedly, supposedly, as a rumor for the Skeleton Crew show coming out a little bit later, either this year or early next year. It's going to be a part of the Mandoverse. We see the main flagship taken down, of course, but however, Bane is the one that had escaped, so maybe he could come back with vengeance or just make some type of appearance in the Skeleton Crew show there. Really, only time will tell. I want to know your initial reaction, your thoughts and opinions on this episode. I'm going to go ahead and roll these reaction clips, and also I'm just now realizing this is my face reveal, I guess, here as well, so enjoy.
Yo, that's Zeb.
Yo! 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 Oh my god! Yo! This could be like the new Rangers of the Republic. Dang! They just really blew it all up. That's a lot. They're just gonna clear this. These motherfuckers know how to handle business.
Area clear. Team 2, with us?
Just like COD. But the pirates have to survive because they're going to be the main enemies in the Skeleton Crew show, I hear, that's coming out here this year. Dude, the armor is going. Oh! Knocked his ass out.
We've got to take him down.
Okay, he's gonna go down then if that's the case. But Bane could be back for Skeleton Crew. The armor wishes to speak with her. It's a trap! It's a trap! Don't remove your helmet. She's asking him to remove the helmet. Don't do it. Ooh, get out. Get out. Will the armor do the same?
Our people have strayed from the way, and it is not enough for a few to walk in.
She's gonna remove her helmet.
All Mandalorians.
Yo, she's telling her to go ride the mythosaur. They're going together. They're just gonna go off together. Bo-Katan without that helmet in front of all the other Mandalorians doesn't look good. She's gonna bring back a mythosaur.
Shows her face.
This is the way. Anybody else can take their helmet off? Armor?
It is time.
That's all. No, 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 no. One last clip. It's Carson T. Just hanging out. There's just a destroyed Imperial shuttle. Oh yeah, that's bad. Nobody can be inside of that. This is giving me Blackwing virus.
Captain T is classified.
Classified? R7? Wasn't it? No, it was not. That's right. You can do that? It's a little camera. Blackwing virus, dude. Yo. Yo, it's just like frozen guys.
Flight times match the ship transport.
I knew it. You never made it to trial.
There don't appear to be any survivors.
Of course not.
Scanning.
Yo, Moff Gideon escaped.
I'm only seeing the remains of the flight crew.
What's on the wall? Yo, what is it?
It's a fragment of Beskar alloy.
Are you saying that Moff Gideon was taken by Mandalorians?
Like Death Watch? Death Watch Mandalorians?
Yo!